Alright, in this lesson we're going to approach percentages from a slightly different perspective. There's a lot of ways that you can do this and a lot of shortcuts out there. The problem is each shortcut doesn't necessarily work in every situation. It really depends upon how a question may be asked. So if you want one way that always works with a percentage type of a problem, is to use a proportion. And what I mean by that is we're going to have two fractions that are equal to each other. Now one fraction is going to represent the percentage, and a percentage is always a number compared to 100 out of 100. So we're going to start that way. Okay? And we're going to start by putting 100 down here on the bottom, and our percentage is always going to go on top. Okay? We're going to have one fraction that just says how much out of 100 are we talking about. And our other fraction we're going to make it equal to is over of. Okay? Now these are two keywords that show up in almost all of these problems, and if you can recognize those, it really tells you where to put things. Okay? Because that's the biggest question, is where do these numbers go to make this proportional, to make it really mean something. So let's take a look at the problem we have above here. It says 18 is 32% of what number? Okay? Now if I'm going to follow this progression here, I'm going to go ahead and take 32, that's my percentage, and I'm going to put it right here. So I'm going to write 32, and that's always out of 100. Percentages are always out of 100. Now I'm going to make that equal to another fraction that represents these two numbers. One of them I know, and one of them I don't. And now if you take a look, when you see that word show up, that's the number that's usually smaller, not always, and it goes on top. And in this case, 18, that's my is number. So 18 goes on top. Okay. On bottom, I'm going to have of. Now when I look over here, of, what number's with it? Nothing. When you see this question, what number? Heck, that's my variable, so I'm probably going to call that x. That's something I don't know. So x goes on the bottom. Of is on the bottom, is on the top. Now once you get to this point, solving this is actually quite simple. Cross product property says I can get rid of these fractions by making these quantities equal each other. Okay. Now let's write it this way using a product. So 18 times 100, so I'm going to write 18 times 100 equals 32 times x. And it doesn't matter the order that these go in. I'm just going to try to make it user-friendly. Now, I could put parentheses if I want to, but on the right side I don't really need them. Now let's see if we can simplify this a little bit. Okay. This part right here becomes 1,800 when I multiply them. Oops. On the other side, I still have 32x. This happens to be a one-step equation, just like you're used to seeing. You've seen these so many times you just kind of solve it without even really thinking about it. So I'm divide by 32, divide by 32, and I'm left with a number that, you don't know that off the top of your head, but you can use a calculator to figure that out. You get x equals 56.25, and that's, once again, you don't have to get a nice whole number for this to be correct. So I'm saying that 18 is 32% of that bigger number. You always want to look at the end. Does your number make sense? Is it reasonable? Is it something that I could kind of see that, it's in the right ballpark? Okay? So that's how we find percentages or numbers that are percentages, no matter how it's asked. If you use this format, you're always on the right track to setting it up.